Maybe.
Alright, should we go? Everybody? Welcome to Shift Happens! Week number
1, 6.
I'm gonna say 2 because the pressure's on me. We think this is 162, so when we upload it, we'll figure it out. If it's not, it's 163. It doesn't matter. But I just want to say, I had to cover his mouth because Potty Boy over here. And you licked my hand. Ooh. Germs. Oh, ooh, perfect topic.
Germs.
Great way to start. Great way to start.
Get the Lysol.
Yeah. So, is it flu season yet? It's September 11th.
Check the calendar.
September 11th. So I don't know. Has flu season started yet? Because I haven't got my permit.
Oh. I see the little sign, so they're advertising. It's got to be here.
It's got to be here. So, we were debating what we're going to talk about because that's usually how we do the shifts. We sit down and go, what are we going to talk about? And
then we hit the button and we hope we
remember what we're going to talk about. So we probably beat this horse a few times, but I think it's well deserved that we need to beat it again. You know, this last week we had one of our rock star patients come to us that they lost a friend that he was in his 30s and took his life. And took his life because he was on long-term, I'm going to say abuse of prescription drugs. Because essentially that's what it was. It was on an antidepressant, was one of the drugs that he was on. And then he had severe pains all over and they kept just dumping it in there instead of addressing the cause. And I think from that point there comes a point of responsibility of the pusher. And with that, and now I'm going down this lane, so I might let you guys talk. I haven't decided yet. But if I'm on the street and I sell you dope and you die from the dope, is that a crime that I've just committed because I sold you dope? Mm-hmm. So where's the line drawn? Because this is, I haven't seen my ears are red, aren't they? Because I just realized that, where do you draw the line? You know, there is a point of responsibility, and it was interesting because the night before last we had the dog guy out at our house, and thanks to Ashley to train as my wife calls him, the hellhound, because he's a puppy like this big, and he did a great job. But he had said, you know, he goes, dogs need to know responsibility and accountability so they know their boundaries, and if a dog needs to know that. And then he looked at me and he goes, like you do in your world. He goes, as a chiropractor, you have responsibilities, accountabilities. I said, yeah, I do. But that profession doesn't have any. They have no accountability to be responsible for the crap that they do. Now, I know there's out there, I'll let you guys talk a little bit. I know there's people out there that are going to go, well, yeah, but they save lives. You do. Fantastic.
about maybe 10% of what they do is that.
Is that, okay, exactly. But yet they still walk around and go, look what I did. I just saved somebody's life. What about, and we know the family, Ash, we all do, we know the family this happened to. What about them? And for those out there, Matt's friends who think I'm a whack job that saying this, I got this for you. You don't think I'm nuts and over the top about this? You call my wife and you ask her on September 16th of 1991 why her dad's no longer around here. And that's because some negligence, arrogance of some anyway, that gave him 10 times the amount of drugs he was supposed to get. So for Matt's friends that say I'm a whack job, call me. Actually, we'll talk. Anyway, so
just a little tangent on that. So
my ears red?
if you attack me and you hurt me.
Well, you licked my hand, I thought about it.
So if you attack me
okay,
and you hurt me, can I sue you?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Should we go and attack you right now?
No examples.
Baseball bat.
No examples. So if you're a drug pusher and you give me drugs, can I sue you?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you talking legal drug pusher or illegal drug pusher?
I'm talking about legal drug pusher.
Absolutely not. They have bound. That's just it. There's no.
They have immunity.
Diplomatic immunity.
Legal immunity.
So you give me those drugs. I get hurt or I die. Or
Change stick, man. Deal with it.
It's my fault.
It's wrong.
And there's no accountability or responsibility on that drug pusher.
Absolutely none.
You cannot sue them, their company, drug companies.
Why?
How does that make sense?
I want to know why. Because in 2011, 4.6 0.02 billion prescriptions were wrote in the United States of America. 5% of the world's population right here, over 52 or 59% of all the dope sold in the world right here in America. We make a 5% of the population 4 point. That's an average of 13 prescriptions, not just the prescriptions alone, per American in this country. Average American, 14,000 pills in their life, throwing the over-the-counter stuff, 40,000. Yeah, we're healthier for that.
Because we're the healthiest country in the world.
See, the time has got, sorry Mike, the time is now, we've got to stop this. I mean, what a great way to eradicate humanity. Give them dope. Go ahead, Mike, we're done.
Oh, now they're just going to throw it. Yeah.
Sorry, this stuff, until it got up, and then I started thinking about, when we lost Sean, when they took Sean's dad from us. It does hit home. And I try to avoid thinking about that, but you can't.
But here's our argument in that they're doing this all for the greater good.
Define the greater
For the
good.
betterment of humanity. Okay, let's dig up the vaccine stuff.
You said you weren't going to go there.
Okay,
But
we're going to go into it a little bit.
Okay.
Briefly.
We'll use this example of it. They're saying that with herd immunity is the whole, basically the tenet on which everything with vaccination stands. If enough people are vaccinated, we don't have to worry about it because it'll basically push itself out of existence, whatever the disease is. But unfortunately, the disease still pops up all the time, and it's doing it in vaccinated populations. So are we really actually doing any good by giving these people vaccines when we're actually seeing
Hold on. Go ahead.
we're seeing things pop up that we've never seen before in human history because of giving those things. Same thing with the drugs too. The way human bodies are responding to much of what's going on, trying to save them from having a disease or an illness or something, yet we're seeing other illnesses and diseases that are basically have never shown up in human history. We're now starting to see that we have no way of basically overcoming now because we've created these things.
I read an article, and I don't think I've told you guys about this, and I'm going to find it and we'll post it. Just give me time, like December, I'll look for it when it's snowing, because we got other stuff happening here. But I read an article, you weren't here, it's probably 2 or 3 years ago, how we, because of all the dope that we squirt into people and inject people, that we have altered the genetic structure of viruses by 1 million years. And it comes from some immunology article that I read. And I have it on a jump stick, but I got like 75 jump sticks laying around. But I remember that I did that one night, and I was like, oh my goodness! But we've literally expedited the alteration of genetic structure of that.
Of the virus.
Of the virus by all the dope that we're putting in. And it's got to stop now. What I'm saying, chiropractic is not going to say we're the only answer. But it's a heck of an option. Because I think losing a life is, when you know there's another option, I think that's immoral. And criminal isn't even it, it's immoral. And I grow very tired of that profession. I know we bust on it. I do bust on it. But I wasn't the one who was found guilty. My profession was not found guilty of trying to eliminate another profession. What I'm getting at, the medical profession was found guilty of trying to eliminate the chiropractic profession. Now they denied it, said they never did it, a court of law ruled they did. Why would they do that? So, anyway, that's for maybe next week.
Anyway, should we let...
Oh yeah, we got a special guest in, right? So with that, oops, we did it wrong. Dr. Price!
Sorry. Got it.
All right, so I'm here now. All right, so today for you guys, it's September 11th, so I want to shout out to all the people that are service members, who are family of service members, and so on for Patriot Day, first of all, that we always remember the lives that were lost. But I also want to talk about something really important that happened yesterday, which was Tuesday, September 10th, and that is National Suicide Prevention Day. I have been an advocate for a organization called TWALA for a few years now, and you can actually check them out, Dr. Matt, www.twala.com. You can check them out at any time, but their mission is to not only voice concern about suicide prevention, but also to help prevent it. And so they're always looking into ways to focus on prevention, not only through medicine, because they've seen and they have shown reports of all these overdoses of prescriptions, of pain pills, of antidepressants that are getting extremely out of hand, and these people are dying anyway. If you notice, one of the #1 side effects on these antidepressant medications is suicide or suicidal tendencies. Yesterday, for the first time in 11 years, I wrote a story online that some of you have read, and thank you so much for your positive feedback. But I actually told my story of battling with suicidal thoughts and depression since as long as I can remember. And about 11 years ago, I ended up in the hospital for over a week, not knowing if I was going to live or die. And since I came back from that, I haven't had medication with the exception of 3 months, which, by the way, was a huge mistake. Taking that medication that I trusted my doctor to prescribe for me, that they thought was best for me, I took for 3 months, and it made me a completely different person. It was terrible. I went through ups and downs, and I felt worse. And I think a lot of people do feel that way. Luckily, I'm very opinionated, and I told my doctor that I did not want to be doing that, and I wanted to try different options. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that don't feel that way, that they really trust, and so when the doctor says, no, keep doing it, it'll get better, they do, and then they become reliant, and then their insurance runs out, and their prescription runs out, and then they have nowhere to turn, and then they kill themselves, unfortunately, like a family member of, or a friend of a family member of somebody that's here. So, anyway, with that, I want everybody to know that is listening to this that there is help out there. And while we, kind of point fingers and we assume that it's the person that's, wearing the black makeup and everything else, I was a captain of our cheerleading squad. I played soccer, I ran track, and nobody would have known the difference that I was suffering from that. There are a lot of people in your everyday life that you walk by that might be feeling that way. So make sure, you give a smile, give a hug, listen to somebody, because you don't know if that conversation that you have with them changes their life. On a note about chiropractic, being adjusted has helped me out on a regular basis as far as dealing with it. It is something that doesn't go away. You deal with it all the time. And since being here and being around people that I know care about me and that listen to me and being adjusted, it helps. So if you are feeling any of those thoughts, or if you know somebody that is, please check out that website, as well as talk to any of us. Get them in here, get them checked, and we can help them as well. So